Hey crafty friends, it's Alyssa with Crafting to Cope, and I'm on today with a quick project share and then a tutorial. And so I'm going to first go through what I'm going to show you that we're making today, and then I'm going to go through the process of how I make it. And what we're going to do is we are going to go through how I make these fun recipe keepers. And so they're books that hold recipes, and I use Dollar Tree photo albums, and I turn it into these adorable recipe keepers. And so I'm going to kind of just breeze through one and show you what it looks like. So I have some seam binding at the top. You can also use ribbon, and then I make a cute cover, and then inside I use ephemera pieces from collections. You can also just leave the top blank, and then I fill it full of fun recipe cards that I get off of Amazon. And so some of the pages up here are just some cute paper. You can also just use any paper from your stash. This is a great way to kind of use different papers in your stash. And the idea is people could put recipes up here, like from a magazine. They could put a picture. So if the recipe is, grandma's jam, they could put a picture of grandma in there. They can also add more recipe cards if they wanted to. And this holds 4x6, so it's great for pictures. So I have just tons of recipe cards that I've gotten off of Amazon. I make a lot of these, and so I make them and sell them in craft fairs, and I usually sell them for $15. And every time I make them, it's a little bit different. Like sometimes I use all the same recipe cards. Sometimes I just switch it up and try to match the paper above it. Every time is different. And so we are going to go through today how to make this cute little recipe keeper. And it is just a fun little chunky book. And what I really love about it is I use one in my kitchen, and I have like my mom's recipes and my grandma's recipes and my sister's recipes. And what I love is I can actually just touch it when my hands are dirty, and I can wipe it right off. And so you can just take this recipe card out and switch it to the back and keep it in here, and it lays open really well. It also will stand up. Maybe this one won't because this one's extra chunky, but you can always prop it over something, and then it'll stand up while you're using it. So, sorry, I hit the camera. So like you can just use this cute little thing that's on my desk, and I can prop it up to read it while I'm making my recipe. And so I made a bunch of them because I do have an upcoming craft fair. And so I'm going to show you the ones that I made real quick, and then we will go through how to make one. So this one, I just used some of the cut aparts from the collection. I use them inside as well. I'm not going to flip through all of them. I'm just going to kind of show you the cover. This one, I used some of the stickers from the collection to make the cover. And then I used the stickers kind of throughout. This is just a piece of the paper, the back of the paper. And then I made this one with the cute little girl. And again, the inside is blank. So every time I do them just a little bit different. This again was that little girl. I just thought she was so cute. And then I used some stickers. The back is just paper. This one is a sticker sheet. And these are Echo Park paper. This is just a sticker sheet, stickers. And I put it on some chipboard that matched the collection. And then I also used a Doodlebug collection, just because most of these kind of have the vintage theme. So I used a Doodlebug collection. And so this one says, "You Bake Me So Happy." And inside, it's all cutesy little Doodlebug. And Doodlebug collections, they also sell recipe cards. So there's the Doodlebug recipe cards in this one. And then this is another Doodlebug that I did. This one says, "Wishing you a sprinkling of happiness." And it has just the adorable little mixer. And then I used the cut aparts in here. And then here I just used some extra paper and made like a band across a pink sheet of paper and added one of the little cut aparts. And so I just kind of get creative to use everything up in the collection. Like I don't want to waste the paper, and it's just a little bit, so I use it kind of as a strip to kind of decorate it. These are stickers from the collection. So there's all kinds of things you can do, and I save all of the Oh, there's one more vintage one. So I save all of the little scraps and use them throughout, and I hang on to them. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So this is another one where I just use stickers. So that's what we're going to make today. And as I go through, I'm going to move these out of the way. As we go through this, I just want to warn you, I have done very few tutorials, and I know that I am not the absolute best at them, but I am trying really hard, so bear with me. So first we're going to go through the supplies that you need. So again, I said I just use these photo books from the Dollar Tree, and so we're going to use this one today. You can also purchase these on Amazon. I think actually if you're going to make them in bulk, it's probably, I've learned, I'm trying to use up the ones I have, it's probably more cost effective to order them off of Amazon because you get more, and the prices obviously have gone up at the Dollar Tree. So I will post links to everything that I'm using today down below. So you're going to need a photo album. You can also get these at Hobby Lobby, and I believe Walmart might sell them as well. But again, if you want them in bulk, your best bet is Amazon. You're going to need a paper trimmer. I use a corner rounder. You're going to need some tape. I just use this AdTech tape. They sell it at Hobby Lobby. They sell it at Walmart. I also have it. They also have it at Amazon, which I'll have linked below. I also use some art glitter glue sometimes when I don't want to use the tape runner. Of course, I always have a pair of scissors on hand. And then you're going to want to find the paper collections you want to use. So today, we are going to be using the Roll With It collection from Echo Park. It's Cartabella, but so this collection I have linked below as well if you're interested in this collection. Also, the Doodlebug collection that I showed before, I'll show you that as well. So we're going to use this collection. And so also I am using some leftovers because I've already made some out of this collection. So I'm using some leftovers from this collection. There's just bits and pieces left. And then a 6x6 paper pad from the same collection. And so when you buy this 12x12 project pack, it comes with all of these papers you see up here in 12x12. And then it comes with these pages of cut aparts and then a sticker sheet. And so some of the paper I still have left. So these are some of the cut aparts. Like you'll see, like some of these are just super cute. You could cut them down and use them as your cover. And then the back side. And then there's this floral print. And then green, wood green. These pretty stripes. I also have the coordinating solids pack, which I use if I want to back things up. And then of course I've already kind of cut into this. So here's what I have left of this page of cut aparts, a solid sheet. I do have a couple of these sticker sheets that we'll utilize. Some more cut aparts. I love this one. And then this sheet of paper is also really good for making the cover because you can just use this cute corner or use this cute corner. And then it has all these adorable cut aparts on the back. And so I have a few solid colored sheets left of this and then cut aparts. So again, we're just going to kind of be using what I have left. And then what I also have is I use this little divider. I actually got it from Hobby Lobby, and I think in the bathroom section, like in housewares, and it was on clearance. And so I have, again, I've made them out of these collections already, and I just keep it in a binder, and this is what I have left. I think all of the ones that I made with this collection in the past is already sold. So I just have all the cut aparts in here. I have an ephemera pack. I've cut down prior to the video so you didn't have to watch me. You cut down all the 4x6 sheets that you want to use. So there's just a bunch of them in here. Some of them are left over from the 6x6 pad. Some of them are from the 12x12 pad. And then I have these recipe cards that I got off of Amazon, and I just thought they matched this collection really well. So I'm going to use those. And then I just keep all my leftover scraps in the back in case I want to utilize them, kind of like I showed you, into like a belly band. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is you take your photo album, and this page just slides right on out. And the thing is the covers, the front and back cover, are bigger than these pages. So for the pages, I always just cut everything 4x6. But the cover, you're actually going to want to measure the cover on the photo album that you buy, because the photo albums from the Dollar Tree, Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, they do not all have the same cover. So you could take this out and trace it, or you could just measure it and make sure you cut your paper. So this one is, 6 1/8 and by 4 1/2. And so you're going to want to cut your covers to this size. You don't want to cut them 4x6, because if you do, you'll see, I'll throw one in here so you can see. If you just cut them 4x6, you're going to have all of this extra, and you're going to want your cover to go all the way to the top, on both sides. The other thing you're going to need, which I didn't go through, is some sort of ribbon. So I'm going to be using seam binding on this one, and when we get to it, I'll show you. But you can just use regular ribbon. You can leave the ribbon off and just have it be a book with nothing. I just like that decorative finish at the top, and I just love seam binding. So I always use the seam binding. So in an effort to save time, I did cut my covers the same size already. So I just used this paper trimmer and I cut the covers. And so I just leave them with the square. I don't round the corners on the cover, because I want it to fit snug in there. And then you can just throw these pieces away. So really all you'd have to do, if you're using double-sided paper, you don't have to, looks like there's a piece of paper in here already. That's interesting. If you're using double-sided paper, you don't necessarily have to do anything on the inside. So the inside of this cover is just a pink polka dot. I probably will put something on there, but I'm going to move some of these things out of the way. So again, paper trimmers just to cut these papers down to 4x6. So if you have a 12x12 sheet, it's, let me grab one, I'll show you. If you have a 12x12 sheet, you're just going to want to make sure that you're paying attention to your directional sides, and you're just going to want to put it and cut it at the 4-inch line. And then you do that and you get 6 of these sheets out of each piece of paper. And then again, it's double-sided. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera. I told you I'm kind of a rookie at the tutorials. So you take and cut them all down. And then I know this is a new blade, so I might be able to do all of these at the same time. Then you just go to 6 and cut them in half. And now I have 6 more sheets of paper that I can use as those top portions. You can also fill the whole book with recipe cards and forego kind of the top if you really wanted to. I like to add in a little bit of extra. So what I do here is, this is a corner rounder. So this one is from We Are Memory Keepers, and it has 3 different options for rounding corners. So I'm just gonna put it in there and kind of give it this finished look, since it's going on the cover. And you can also do it for the inside. I didn't, because again, I was trying to save time. So essentially I am just going to put it in there like that, and that's going to be the cover, and I think it's super cute. So I'm going to just grab my tape runner. Put a generous amount on there. Make sure that you're looking at your directional pieces, and then center it the best you can. It's hard, tricky to do on camera. And then you have your cover. So the inside here is just pink. And so when I was going through these cut aparts before the video, I have all of these just different cute cut-aparts. I thought that this conversions one would be really cute at the beginning of a recipe book, because it tells you like how many cups is how many ounces and how many tablespoons is how many teaspoons. And I just thought that that would be something that would be really cute to put here. But then the page is a little boring, so I might find, you know, something else to put on there. Maybe just a cute little cake like that. And so again, you can, you know, take this corner rounder and get rid of these. Oops. Uh-oh, my corner rounder's jammed. Let's try that again. So you could just take the corner rounder and kind of do that to all these little corners, and it just gives it that cute little finished look. So I'm going to do that to all of these. So you can either use this tape gun, or if you're a wet glue person, I kind of switch off. More often than not, I'm using wet glue, which again, I use art glitter glue, and the reason I use it is because it dries really fast and it allows me to reposition things, and you really don't need a lot. Of course, I'm going to be on video and mine's going to not work. You really don't need a lot of glue, so you just put, it's very little, you can barely see it. So I'm just going to, I just want to show you that you can use more than one kind of glue. So I'm just going to put this right here. And so you want to make sure that if your front looks like this, you're flipping it up like this, because that's how it's going to be in the book. So again, this glue dries so fast, and you don't really even need that much of it. I love art glitter glue. I always used these, but it's so much more cost effective to use wet glue, just because you don't need to use that much, and it dries really fast and it lasts really a long time. The one thing is if you're using the glue, you have to constantly remember to put your pin back in the glue, and I don't have the best eyesight for this, so I'm sorry if I'm off camera, but you just have to keep the pin in your glue, and they have to be stainless steel. So now we have our cover. So, oops. Make sure I did it. I don't even think I did it right. Like I totally just told you. Oh, nope, I did. So it's just kind of confusing. I need more coffee. So that is the cover. It's that easy. And so for the back of the book, I'm just going to leave it blank, and I'm just going to put it right in there and make sure that I'm doing it directionally correct, so the little cakes are going the right way on the back. So that is the front and that is the back. It's super easy. And then what we're going to do is we are going to just go through and decide if we want to decorate any of these pages or just throw them on in the book. And so I have recipe cards and then these blank pages. So for the purpose of this video, I'm probably not going to decorate all of them, or this video will be forever long. But you can just put in your recipe card. Again, you can fill the whole thing with recipe cards if you want. This paper's pretty. It doesn't probably need anything extra, so I'm just going to put it in there. The other thing I do from time to time is I'll take this sticker sheet, because I usually have tons of extra of the sticker sheet. I don't always use all the stickers. I'm huge on using cut-aparts, but I don't always use the stickers. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the recipe card, I'll look at the paper, and I'll take off one of these cute little stickers, and I'll add it to the recipe card to just kind of make it a little more interesting. And then I'll put this recipe card right in there like that. So you see it kind of matches. And now this next sheet of paper, it's not super interesting. So what I may do is just kind of look through, again, I'm so sorry, look through some of the cut aparts that I have, and that one is kind of big, and just add a cut apart to it. The other thing is I told you I had all these little extra pieces. I might actually take one of these pieces like this, and then take my cutter and just cut it into a cute little strip. So I'm just gonna, it has this hole because this again was left over from my 6x6 paper pad. So I'm just gonna cut off this little strip. I still keep this because I might use it later. And then I'm going to just add this strip across the front. And again, you can use just this tape. You don't have to use the wet glue, whichever you decide. I kind of switch off. Sometimes I get sick of taking the pin out of my glue. And if I just leave it out, it'll dry out. So I'll just put that there. Again, I like to round my corners. And you can make these as fancy or as plain as you want. You know, I've done both, and no matter how I make them, they always sell. Like, I will get like moms or grandmas that will come and they will buy them and then spend the whole year filling them with recipes to give to their kids for Christmas the next year, which I think is such a fun idea. And it really makes me happy to know that I'm helping somebody carry on their traditions. And then I just throw in a recipe card. And so in this book, I'm using all the same recipe cards because the color just matches this vintage look so well. But again, there are so many on Amazon that you can order in bulk. Like, you can get 100, 200. Yeah, so again, this one is super cute by itself. So I'm just gonna put this one in there. And somebody can add something to it if they wanted. They can also, I'm going to take one of these stickers, put it on here. I'm going to put this one down here. They can put pictures. They can put their own little cut aparts in there. I just don't want you sitting here watching me all day long. But some of these are super plain and they need something. So like here, I just have this border. I'm just going to put that on there. And since this page isn't going to be taken out, I mean, it doesn't have to be glued down like crazy. I mean, the idea is that they probably put their, that's not very straight. This is the great thing about wet glue, is if you don't do it straight, you can reposition it a little bit easier than you can with the tape. So there we go. So I do believe that these hold 48, I guess, photos. So then it would be 24 of each. Now here, I'm just going to use this sticker. I have 2 sheets of these and I'm almost done with the paper. So you might want to get it on straight. I don't want tons of stickers left over, so I'm going to try and just, I can make just a few books over with what I have left. So I'm going to try to incorporate, you know, some of the stickers and stuff. So again, this one is super cute on its own. I might add a little utensil of some sort. Let's see. Well, this is cute. Let's see where I can put that. The ingredients probably right up here. Now we have this one, which might need something added to it. Let's see what we can find. I also have an ephemera pack, so why don't we open that and see what we can use from the ephemera pack. So Obviously, you don't have to make these for craft fairs. They'd make great gifts for your family and friends. If you wanted to fill out the recipes yourself, or just leave it blank, or just put a couple recipes in there, like if you have some family recipes you wanted to share with your siblings, or you wanted to ask your mom or your grandma for some of their recipes, you could put these together for your aunts and uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, those types of things. Or if you're a great cook yourself and you have tons of recipes, that's also an idea. So this one is little cakes, which is super cute on its own. I'm just going to put that in there. And again, you can add stickers, you cannot add stickers. I don't know. I've had some that are pretty, this is pretty plain, so let's see what we can find. That's cute. Sweets for my sweet. Sorry. Told you, I'm very new to YouTube. I've only been doing it for a couple of months, and like tutorials are very intimidating to me, but I'm trying. I have so much I want to share, and so I have to keep practicing, so bear with me. But this one is just so much fun. So at Christmas time, I do have I'll sell these at craft fairs all the time, but at Christmas time, I will have a combination of Christmas theme books as well as just kind of everyday ones like this. You know, I've done like farmhouse theme. I've done, oh, this is cute. I've done farmhouse theme. I've just done like lemon theme. I've done all kinds of cute things. And no matter what I do, they just seem to sell really well. So people really do like the recipes. I think maybe I'm going to look at the sticker sheet for this, because that piece of paper is super plain. It's kind of just like a very light grid line. I just love this stove. It's so cute. Let's put the stove on there. And then, sorry, put the stove on there and maybe something else next to it. Let's put this cute little mom and kid picture on there. So, I mean, they may put a picture over it, but at least if it stays plain, it's kind of cute. I think because these are two almost the same color, I'm also going to throw a sticker down here. And I think here, I'm going to just put this cute little pile of cookies in the middle. And I try to move, like when I put these stickers on the recipe cards, I try not to put them always in the same place, because then the book gets thicker in one place and not the other. So here, I think I'm just going to put that on there. And normally I spend a little more time getting creative. I find it very fun, but I don't want to keep you here all day. I want to show you what the end product looks like. But as you can see, if you wanted to, you could really kind of breeze through making one of these if you're not huge into the decorating piece of it. And so now we have a yellow. Let's see what we have for that. Maybe we'll just put those cookies on there. The colors don't go great together, but I think that's kind of the theme of the whole book. They're all just cute vintage colors. And again, I probably would normally round corners on these before I put them in with that corner rounder, but I'm just trying to get through this for you. Let's see, is there cookies? Let's put this plate of cookies on. The recipe card to kind of go with the cookies up there. Put them right in the middle. Sorry, I keep getting out of camera. I'm putting some glue on the back of this one. Let me see. I've seen people make these before on YouTube. Quite a few people actually. But I just think it's so much fun. I've seen them print their covers as well. I'm not big on that. I just like to, I have so much paper, so I just use my paper that I have. I've also done ones with just kind of like colored paper. I've done one that's all lemons, and then I've used a lemon collection. I've done ones that's all strawberries and used strawberry collection. And like I said, no matter what I actually make, people always seem very interested in them. And, you know, there's been years at craft fairs where I've sold tons of Christmas ones, and then there's years where I sell more of like the everyday looking ones. Not always Christmas, but I always sell a lot. And so, but I've also made them, so like my sister has taken tons of them to make them, you know, she has 4 kids, and so she's been working on them to give recipes to her kids, like her family recipes, things that she made for them when she was little, or when they were little. And so there's so many different uses. This one is so plain. Let's see, that actually looks really cute. So again, I'm just using this tape runner to save time. I'll probably use the whole thing, which can get a little expensive. So if you're looking to save money, I would suggest using some glue. And that glue dries so fast. It might be one of my favorite things in my craft room is my art glitter glue. I wish I would have known that back when I still scrapbook, but I used to scrapbook so much more. And I always use these tape runners, like not that brand, but a different brand. And make sure it's going the right way. Nobody wants upside down bread. And they, you know, after a while, the ones that I used to use, the pictures would start to fall out of my photo albums. And it was just so, I don't know, irritating. So then I'd have to go through and kind of fix all of the photo albums that I had done. So I never have that issue with art glitter glue. So now I'm out. So we're going to the glue. The great thing about the glue is you have just a little bit to position it, and you only need this really fine bead. You don't need a lot of it, and it goes a long way. So like you see, you can put it down and you can just move it to where you want it, where you can't really do that with this. So I can position it until I feel like it's straight. We're getting to the end. Then we get to do the fun part. Pick out the ribbon, or I'm going to use seam binding. That's upside down. You get to see the real crafting. I'm going to put a sticker on this one because that's kind of blah. I love this little pink cake. Let's put it down in this corner. And then this is the last page, and this page is just blank. So you could take this out and decorate this if you want. I wouldn't suggest putting a recipe card in there because it's really hard to get it out. So usually I'll just take a recipe card. I'll probably put one of these stickers on it. Let's see, the bottom of the page is pink. So I'm just gonna take this and put it there. And then you can obviously take this page out if you want to make it a little more interesting. It's a lot easier to get in and out before you fill the book, but you can, you know, find a cute picture. Let's see what I got. You can just find a cute picture. Make sure if the back is directional, that you're doing it the right way. So you see this would go in like this, so you're going to want this. You just want to pay attention to the direction that things are going. Oh, I forgot that was out. Habit. Oop. So now it's not as blah. So I got to put my pin back in my glue real quick, and then we're going to dig out and decorate the front, and then I'll show you the final product. But again, I'm just putting my pin back in my glue. So the last thing we're going to do is find, let me move some of this out of the way so we can find our seam binding. So I have this great big container of seam binding. I love seam binding. I mean, who am I kidding? I love a lot of crafty things, but I just love seam binding, especially with this book and its vintage look. So what I want to do is I kind of want to see if I can find kind of like a teal or, I don't know, a color that matches. This blue kind of matches. I just have a big mess of seam binding. It's just all mixed together because I dig through it so much and use so much of it. So I might not have a color that matches exactly. Yellow would go because there's the little yellow cakes. I was kind of looking for more of a faded blue color, but I use a lot of that. That's too green. Sorry, I probably should have picked it out beforehand, but now you know the struggle. It doesn't look like I have any teal, so it's either light blue or yellow. But I do think the light blue might clash a little bit with all these. We're going to go with the blue anyways. So you just find the end and then cut yourself off a nice piece so you can wrap it inside and then tie the bow. So let me get this squished back in here. And again, you can buy seam binding. You can crinkle it yourself. You can buy it on Etsy. There's a shop on Etsy that sells it. Can't think of the name. They also sell it on Amazon. I'll have some linked below. But what you're going to want to do is find the middle of the book, which is pretty easy to find. You just kind of look right here for the seam, and then you open it up. What I do is I put the seam binding right in the middle of the book. And then, so right here in the middle, just pull it kind of tight. I try to even out these sides so I don't have to cut as much off. And then you're just going to tie a bow. It's pretty simple. So I tie the bow right here. And then I'm going to double knot the bow after I get it tied. So I'm going to tighten it, kind of get it where I want it, make sure the bow's even. I kind of want my bow a little smaller. So you just play with it till you get it where you want it. And then you can double knot it. And then I usually just look at the extra and determine if I want to cut any off and then straighten it out. And in this case, I think we're good. So we just made this together. Again, it's super cute. It has this cute cover and then all of the pages. So I did link all of the supplies I used in this below on Amazon. You can also, obviously use paper in your stash. The recipe cards are 4x6. Some standard recipe cards, I know like the ones my mom uses are a lot smaller. You can still use them in here. They're just only going to take up, like 3x5. I do find that these recipe cards are great because if you look at we'll take one out. You look at the back, it has more room for more directions. I know that the smaller ones do as well, but so that is the book that we made together. So much fun. And again, pretty soon I'm going to be making ones for Christmas with more Christmas type paper. You don't even have to buy baking paper. Use what you have. Make them in themes. You can buy plain white recipe cards. You can buy decorative ones. They also sell recipe cards at Hobby Lobby. And there you go. That is our cute recipe book. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you watching my tutorial. Hopefully it's not too horrible and shaky. I am getting better, but I appreciate all of your support so much. Have a great day.